Hey everyone, today we are talking about how to get a mobile phone in the UK as an expat. Now before we get started, there are some word differences that are a little bit important. So a lot of countries like Canada and the US, we will typically say cell phone or your cell or your cell phone plan. But here in the UK, Brits will say mobile. Without a doubt, it is mobile and it's typically a mobile contract. Now, in terms of getting your mobile set up in the UK, there are two major routes that you could choose. You could either do a prepaid SIM or a mobile contract. And they both have their pros and cons. So first up, let's talk about a prepaid SIM. Now, a prepaid SIM card is going to have a UK number associated with it. You would be able to pop it into your phone. So you'll have a UK number. They usually come with a set amount of text, talk, and data for a set fee. So maybe it's £10 as a prepaid SIM. You get your UK number, you get unlimited text, unlimited talk, and 5 gigabytes of data. And it's typically for 30 days. So you buy that prepaid SIM, you use it for the 30 days. Maybe you don't use up all the minutes or the talk or the text or the data, but at the end of that 30 days, that SIM card is basically empty. You still have that number, but you have no plan within it. Now, prepaid SIMs are extremely cheap. They are easy to get. They are pretty much everywhere, and they are great because they are very short term. So if you are coming to the UK and maybe you're only going to be here for 6 months or a year, and you don't want to get tied into a mobile contract that could be a year plus. So instead, you can use prepaid SIMs. Now, you can either buy prepaid SIMs online, or a lot of the times you can pick them up at convenience stores or grocery stores even sell them. And topping up a prepaid SIM is typically pretty easy. They will either usually have an app or you can do it from the website. So you would log into your account, you would top up your prepaid SIM, and then you would be good to go for another set amount of days. Typically, prepaid SIMs and these types of plans are 30 days. So the general idea would be that you would buy that first prepaid SIM, you'd put it into your mobile, you would then use it for the set amount of time, typically 30 days. At the 30 days, you would still have that UK number, but you would have no minutes, no data, no talk, at which point you would need to top it up. Prepaid SIMs are also great because you don't need to be approved for them. There is no credit check, there's no financial check or background check or anything like that. You can just buy them. They're super easy, they're cheap, and then you're good to go. The other option to getting a mobile in the UK is to do a mobile contract. Now, these contracts typically work out a bit cheaper than the prepaid SIMs, especially if you are using your phone a lot. And they are certainly a bit more desirable if you're going to be in the UK long term. So you can sign up for a mobile contract, you get all the details sorted, and then you're ready to go. Typically, they're paid through a direct debit, so you don't have to worry about payment, you don't have to worry about topping up, you don't have to worry about any of the prepaid nonsense because your mobile plan is up, it's ready to go, and then that's it. Mobile contracts in the UK either come as a SIM only, so you will just get the SIM card, or you can do a combination plan where you are paying towards the phone and the SIM card. And typically mobile contracts are 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years. Now the trick with mobile contracts is while it is great in the long run and it is nice to not have to worry about it, you do need to be approved. You do need to have a financial check to make sure that they believe you can pay for it before you can get going. And as a brand new expat, typically you won't pass that check. So which mobile provider should you use? If you're coming to the UK as a brand new expat, we have 4 main mobile providers, and those are Vodafone, EE, O2, and 3. Now there are tons of smaller companies. Personally, I have used 3 my entire time in the UK. My partner also uses 3. This is not sponsored, of course, and they may not be the best ones for you, but I will say that I have used them the entire time I've been in the UK and I've had no problems. Now, if you want to go down the mobile contract route, how do you go about doing that? And that's a great question. First up, you'll need to pick a mobile provider. I would recommend starting out looking at the big 4 first. They are extremely reliable. They're big companies. Some of the smaller ones may give you a better deal, but their coverage could be a bit spotty, or their customer service could be a little bit crap, or it could be a little bit sketchy. Personally, I would recommend check out the big 4 first and see if you can find a plan that suits you. I will say a really big positive to the UK, especially as a Canadian, mobile plans here are so cheap compared to places like Canada. I know my mom's mobile plan back in Canada costs almost $100 a month, and that is not unusual. Here in the UK, my mobile plan for everything that I need is £10 a month. So the price differences between the UK and a lot of other countries is shocking. Here in the UK, mobile plans, prepaid SIMs, all that kind of stuff when it comes to mobiles is so affordable. It's absolutely incredible. So you found a mobile provider that you like, say you're gonna go O2, you found a plan that you like and it's extremely reasonable, then you just need to order it. And typically I would do this online. You can pretty much do everything online here in the UK. You could actually go into a store if you wanted to and you were able to get to a local store. That's certainly an option as well, but I would definitely recommend doing it online. Now, the requirements for signing up for a mobile contract will be different depending on that particular provider, but typically you're going to need proof of identity, you're going to need proof of address, and you're going to need a UK bank account for payment. And be aware, some places may run a credit check on you. So as a brand new expat to the UK with no credit history, you will not be approved for this. But I do have some tips on how to solve this problem. Now, as a Canadian, what did I do when I first moved to the UK? So when I first came here, I did not have a smartphone. I know. So in the meantime, I bought a dumb phone, you know, like one of those phones, like a throwaway phone. I went to Argos and I bought a like 20-pound phone and I bought a prepaid SIM. So I think the SIM was like 10 pounds. The mobile phone was 20 pounds. So for 30 pounds, I immediately had a UK mobile number, which is extremely important, especially when you are trying to get a job and you need employers to be able to call you for interviews. So this was my setup right at the beginning. I did this for a little while, and every 30 days I would top up that prepaid SIM, and I just used this dumb throwaway phone. At the time, I would not have been approved for a mobile contract because I didn't have any of that credit history, and I also didn't own a smartphone that I could use. So this is just what I did right at the beginning. It was a bit stressful not owning a smartphone, but I made it work. Eventually, I bought my own iPhone directly from Apple, and I would use, again, that prepaid SIM in my own phone. So at least now I had a smartphone, I had data. I would just need to top up my phone every 30 days. And to be honest, I did this for a long time. It just became part of my routine. It became a habit. I had an alert in my calendar every 30 days to make sure I topped up my phone, and that was fine. It is a hassle to manually top up your phone. And sometimes, like, say I would get the alert, I need to top up my phone, and I would forget to do it. And then I would be out like 2 days later and go to use my phone and realize I didn't have any plan on it. Like, I could use Wi-Fi and that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't have data, text, talk because I forgot to top it up. So that can get you into some annoying situations, but on the whole, overall, it was fine. I just needed to make sure to top it up every 30 days. A few years later, I ended up doing a mobile contract, again with 3. I've had no problems. My plan is £10 a month for unlimited text, unlimited talk, and 10 gigabytes of data, which honestly is more than enough for me. And my mobile contract was a SIM only contract. Because I had bought my smartphone myself, I didn't need one from them, so it was just for the SIM. At this point, I had been in the UK for a while. I was very easily approved for the mobile contract because I had a credit score, because I had financial history, and I had a job, and I had a place I was living, and I was very settled in the UK. So it was very easy to get approved for it at that point. And now I don't need to think about topping up my phone. I have a direct debit, so every month I get debited £10 and I never have to think about it. I will say, just as a hot tip, I would recommend putting a cap on your plan. So 3 allowed me the option of being uncapped, where if I went above my text or data or calls, they would allow it, but then they would charge me on top of my £10 plan. I said no. Put a cap on it. That way, if I accidentally spend all of my data, it will tell me, okay, now you're out of data, rather than just letting it tick over and I don't realize, and I'm like downloading something from the internet on this overage on data. No, thank you. So just a hot tip, if you are able to, and you should be able to, depending on what provider you choose, make sure to cap your plan so you don't accidentally overspend. Now, what would I suggest for a new expat in the UK? So this is kind of dependent on whether you have a smartphone or not. If you already have a smartphone, I would 100% recommend getting a prepaid SIM, popping that into your smartphone, and you are good to go. You do need to make sure that your phone is unlocked so you can use other SIMs. But if your phone is unlocked, you have it, you can bring it to the UK, definitely get a prepaid SIM and you are immediately ready to go. When you first move to the UK, you will not be approved for that mobile contract. So you've got your smartphone, get that prepaid SIM, and you're good. It is a pain to top up your prepaid SIM every month, but sometimes being an expat is a pain and you just have to deal with it. I would suggest doing that whole system for a few months, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year. Make sure you are settled, make sure that you have a credit history, you have a job, you have a place to live, and then you can apply for a mobile contract. If you wait long enough where you do have a credit history, you should be approved okay. Now, on the other hand, if you do not have a smartphone, honestly, I would budget to buy one. You won't be approved for a mobile contract here when you arrive in the UK, so you are really going to be stuck using prepaid SIMs. So you really ideally need to have a smartphone. I find that so much of my day-to-day life now is using apps and data on my phone, especially as an expat. So if you do not have a smartphone, please start saving for one. And perhaps if you're going to be in the UK long-term, buy one once you get here, because having a smartphone at this point is almost vital. And then of course, once you have that smartphone, I would recommend doing a prepaid SIM until eventually, perhaps a year down the line, you would be approved for a mobile contract. If you have any questions about getting a mobile in the UK, please leave a comment down below. If you are a new expat or you're looking to move to the UK, make sure to check out this video where I talk about how to get a UK rail card. But until then, I'll see you in the next one.